So good evening and welcome to our 13th Community Advisory Team meetings for the Silver Spring area. This meeting is being recorded and will be posted to our website, purplelinemd.com, along with the supporting project material within 24 hours after this meeting. Again, please keep your microphones muted and your cameras off during the presentation. And we ask that you please hold all of the questions until after the presentation during the Q&A portion of tonight's meeting. We also ask that you limit your questions and comments to 1 minute so that we can get as many questions from you guys as possible. And if we aren't able to answer your questions at tonight's meeting, you can send those to us and they will be posted after this meeting. And for those of you that would like a live translation, the Teams format can translate the meeting live. Instructions for how to turn on that translation function will now be provided by our community liaison, Stephanie Villegas, and instructions are being placed in the chat. Stephanie?
Buenas tardes y bienvenidos. La aplicación Teams puede traducir esta reunión en vivo en varios idiomas, incluyendo español, árabe, chino, francés y portugués, y muchos más. Las instrucciones para ver las traducciones en vivo están en la sección del chat. Gracias. Back to you, Carla.
Thanks, Stephanie. So our meeting overview for tonight will include staff introductions, a project status video, a construction update that will include work completed, progress photos, and our upcoming work. We'll go through community engagement and we'll do a Q&A session after. So tonight with the team, you have myself. I'm our Stakeholder and Communications Manager, Carla Julian. We will have Ray Biggs II, who is our Senior Project Director for MTA. Doran Basso, CEO for Purple Line Transit Partners. We have with us Hugo Fontarage, who's our Project Executive for MTS. Julio Velez, our Construction Manager. Seren Serkasoon, our Design Build Systems Manager, and Scott Glass, the Area Manager in charge of all of the construction in Silver Spring. The stations that we'll be focusing on tonight are Silver Spring, the Silver Spring Library, and Dale Drive. And now I'm going to turn it over to Ray Biggs, who's going to introduce our fall progress video.
Thank you, Carla. Welcome everyone again, and thank you again for joining us this evening. It was a very busy summer for us here at the Purple Line. We got much accomplished, and we have a lot to show to you with the latest progress video that will be played now. So Chris, let's play the video. Welcome to our Fall Progress Update video for 2024. We are here on Campus Drive at the University of Maryland, where we recently completed a lot of our summer construction work that completed the track installation all along Campus Drive. We are so excited that we have 5 light rail vehicles at our operations and maintenance facility, and we also completed 10 miles of track across the alignment. Did I also mention that we have over 17 miles of sidewalk that have been installed? Additionally, you can see the colorful canopies that are right behind me, and we have 19 stations that will be in construction by the end of this year. And we are so excited that we are moving forward, completing the momentum on the project and continuing that going forward.
Crews have focused on many specific areas to minimize impacts and advance the project. In Prince George's County, crews prepare for track placement by establishing work zones in the center of University Boulevard. Traffic is shifted to the newly completed sections on either side of the road. At the University of Maryland, crews have successfully completed much of the heavy construction through the center of campus. This year, students arrived to find newly completed sidewalks, embedded tracks, paved roadways, and all lanes open on Campus Drive. Also in Prince George's County, crews opened 2 new roads, 64th Avenue, and Mustang Drive. Both connect communities to Riverdale Road at signalized intersections. The flyover bridge from Kenilworth Avenue over East-West Highway has also been completed. Track crews completed the crossing of Rivertech Court and opened the road 3 weeks ahead of schedule. At the operations and maintenance facility, the new light rail vehicles are being prepared for testing.
I am honored and thrilled to stand here today at our operations and maintenance facility in front of this. Maryland, we have a train.
Good morning. I'm Holly Arnold, administrator of the MTA, and I am so thrilled to be here today to celebrate the arrival of the first of the Purple Line light rail vehicle. I want to huge congratulations to the Purple Line team. This team does not sleep. They are working all the time to deliver the Purple Line for Maryland, and I'm so thankful and grateful for them.
These vehicles are 142 feet long. That's nearly half of a football field, almost twice the size of a metro vehicle, and will be the longest light rail in North America. It'll hold up to 430 passengers. There will be 8 bike racks on board, as well as 8 dedicated wheelchair spaces accessible near the doors. These electric-powered LRVs will reduce energy and carbon emissions, as well as being quieter than other modes of transportation.
Over the summer, we worked very closely with our partners at CSX, WMATA, Montgomery County Parks, and Montgomery County Schools to complete a lot of construction work and installing track all across the alignment.
In Montgomery County, the Purple Line has successfully placed both sets of tracks across the Wayne Avenue and Dale Drive intersection prior to the start of the school year. They have also installed the complex curved track at Piney Branch Road and University Boulevard, and fully opened the Talbot Avenue Bridge. At the Silver Spring Transit Center, the LRV bridge over Colesville Road and the foundations and superstructure for the new mezzanine are taking shape. Crews also started the work to build a new and improved Spring Street Bridge by completing the bridge demolition during the WMATA summer shutdown. Station construction can be seen across the whole alignment, with station after station taking shape. The highlight of the station construction is the installation of the first Art in Transit artwork element at the Campus Drive UMD station. The artists at Legg Lewis Legg added a beautiful display of color that changes throughout the day and is a shining example of things to come at the Purple Line.
Thank you again for your patience, and while we continue construction, we are going to keep the momentum up across the alignment, moving from laying track into the testing phase of the light rail vehicles across the alignment. We are so excited about the Purple Line, and we know you are too. Thank you.
All right, so that was a glimpse of all the progress that we had over this summer, and a lot more to come as we finish out this calendar year. As you can see on your screen in front of you, this is our project timeline for the project going forward. And I mentioned that we're now going to be entering to that testing phase of our light rail vehicles, where we'll start static testing and dynamic testing later this year. So looking forward to that, and then we'll be moving on to the next years and then towards revenue service. The pictures here you see on this project timeline, you see the vehicles, and then you see the catenary system there in the second picture that is there along Veterans Parkway. You see UMD and also the art installation that was mentioned in the video that is on UMD campus. So now I'll turn it over to Scott, who will provide our construction update for the Silver Spring area. Scott?
Thank you, Ray. My name is Scott Glass. I'm the area manager of the work in the Silver Spring area. I wanted to review here the work that's been happening in Silver Spring at Spring Street Bridge. As Ray mentioned and the video showed, we started the closure of that bridge in early June, and we're able to get the demolition completed while the WMATA shutdown was in progress. We also have been able to progressed the critical utilities that you can see in the aerial utilities that you can see in this picture. And we've now begun to start to remove the bridge abutments, and we're continuing to relocate those aerial utilities. Over the next 6 months, we'll be starting and completing the foundations and continuing the construction of the bridge through the spring. We'll also be completing these aerial utility relocations and some of the remaining minor demolition that's on the crash walls there. Next slide. Right here in this slide, you can see right now we have an active closure for the Spring Street Bridge that directs traffic around 16th Street from the south side to Georgia Avenue. And when approaching from the north side, it directs our traffic east along 2nd Avenue over to Colesville Road. That closure will be in effect until spring of 2025 when we open the new bridge. The LRT bridge, light rail train bridge over for the Purple Line over Colesville Road, we have completed in the last 6 months. We've completed the bridge deck and the safety walks that you can see in the photo here on the right. We've continued the light rail bridge ramp adjacent to the train tracks behind the Falkland Apartments. And we've completed the duct bank installations that run on either side of this bridge all the way across the bridge and are encased in concrete to create the safety walks. We've also recently started the installation of all of the safety railing, the permanent railing that goes along the top of this bridge. So over the next upcoming work, over the next few months, we'll finish up the work on top here and complete the permanent railing installations. We'll remove all of the temporary formwork and railings that you see that have been out there. And we'll prepare for the installation of track across the bridge. We'll also be erecting the catenary posts across the bridge there. And we'll also be starting the abutment for the east abutment of the CCT bridge, which is adjacent to this LRT bridge. At the Silver Spring Purple Line station, the recent work, we've had continuing work activities at the platform level where the Purple Line train will pull in to complete all of the canopies and the windscreens. You can see them working on those in this picture. The glass canopies and architectural elements have now been installed. The glass windscreens are now completed, and we are approaching the point in time now where we'll be continuing the track through this station and across the LRT bridge. We've also completed the elevator structural steel erection, which is adjacent to this. It will house the elevators and the stairs. And in the future, over the next few months, several months, 6 months, we'll be completing that elevator and stair structure. We'll also be bringing in the utilities that involve water and sewer to that structure, as well as the permanent power for this station. We have long awaited a recent completion of a PEPCO relocation that's enabled us to progress and proceed with the new power service to this station. And then we'll also be on the west end, the east end of that station, installing the approach slab to that bridge and preparing for the track to cross. Next slide, please. At the Silver Spring Transit Mezzanine, the bridge that will connect the Purple Line station to the WMATA Metro station at Silver Spring, we had a summer shutdown that closed this station so that we were able to work 24/7 to construct the new structure elements in the platform itself. We completed all of the foundations inside the Metro platform, the vertical columns to the mezzanine level, the second story level that will bridge across the Metro and the CSX tracks. Over the coming months, we'll be completing the North Tower behind the crane in this picture and erecting the girders over the tracks. and then continuing into the winter, December months, doing a lot of steel erection and canopies on this mezzanine. That takes us over into the Bonifant and Georgia Avenue area. I'm going to turn it over to Julio. Julio, you online?
Yes, I am. Good evening. I will pick it up here and give you a quick update on what's going on Bonifant Street and through Wayne and the rest of segment 3 and into segment 4. So some of the ongoing work that's been going on right now is we are in the final steps of actually doing a traffic switch on Georgia Avenue. It was actually scheduled for this week. It's been postponed due to weather. We're hoping that we will get that traffic switch done before the end of the week, which will move all the traffic on Georgia Avenue to the west side, which will then allow us to continue on with our utility work. And then after all that utility work and underground work is done, making preparations for the track installation on Bonifant, what we call Bonifant East. Once that traffic switch is done, we will continue working on duct bank, drainage, sewer line relocations, and that work will go on from now and through the year end. Also on Bonifant, you can see that over the summer, we have done significant amount of work on Bonifant, where we have done significant amount of storm drain. We've done the overhead catenary systems. We've also are in the process now of starting our track installation. So you will see up and coming track starting over the next couple of weeks, and that'll continue on through the end of the year. And hopefully we'll be able to start restoring Bonifant once we continue with the track installation and move on to building the permanent curbs and the permanent sidewalks on Bonifant. Next slide, please. As you make your turn from Bonifant on towards what we call the Silver Spring Library, we have completed the station platform. We have also working now on all the underground work, what we call duct bank, which is now all being installed. And now that we've prepared the surface, track will be able to be installed through the station. So that's what the up and coming work will be, installing all the track and continuing doing all the outfitting of the actual station. That'll include all the architectural finishes like brickwork and opening up access through the station. So that'll be up and going from now through the end of the year. Once we make our turn on to Wayne Avenue, the bulk of this Wayne Avenue between Fenton and Dale, we have been doing a significant amount of work on retaining walls, overhead catenary system foundations are almost all complete. And we have been working on storm drain. Those efforts will continue going on over the next several months, trying to get a retaining wall, which will allow the widening of the road to occur in the future. That'll continue ongoing. We will also be soon resuming our sewer line relocations in this area that have been waiting on some overhead conflicts to be completed, and that work is slated to be completed over the next several months, and that will then pave the way for the completion of sewer lines, storm drain, and then what we're all looking for is the final curb and sidewalks in this area. On this corridor between Fenton and Dale, there is an up and coming traffic switch, which is presented here. In order to allow the construction of track through the intersection, we're working closely with the county and all the major stakeholders right now to be able to restrict a left-hand movement on Cedar. This is something that was done similar this past summer on Dale, and this will allow us to build both tracks through Cedar with an approximate timeline of 1 month. And the anticipated timeline for this work is around January of next year. The work that's been going on between Dale and Sligo, we are now working on all the completing all the SCS foundations. We are also continuing on track installation. A significant amount of track has already been installed, and those efforts will continue going on. We have just recently done a traffic switch where the bulk of the traffic is now traveling on the north side, allowing the work to continue on the south side. The Dale Drive station, if you've driven by there lately, you see that all the underground foundation and slab work is done, and soon to be will be continuing on the station work. So canopies will be installed, windscreens will be installed, and over the next several months, that station will start taking place. Also along this corridor, we will continue on what we call planter box installations, which is part of our drainage system. So that work is also scheduled to start here over the next several weeks and continue through the end of the year. Track installation will also continue as it's going on right now. And then we are looking forward to now being able to start completing the permanent curb and sidewalk installation on the south side. This past summer, we were able to do the permanent sidewalk on the north side, and now we're looking to repeat that process on the south side. Also on this corridor, we're looking to do this, complete the installation of all the utilities along the south side of Wayne Avenue, which will be the last of the underground work between Mansfield and Dale, allowing us to be able to put in all the permanent curb and sidewalk. Next slide, please. We have recently done a traffic switch with moving all the traffic to the north side and being able to then transition once you cross Mansfield back onto the south side. So that was just done over the last several weeks. This will allow all the work on the north side between the Silver Springs Middle School and the Sligo Parkway, which has just recently been closed since September 16th to be exact, and that is slated to continue going on from now through November. Next slide, please. Once that work is completed on the parkway and the parkway is opened up, there's also a plan to be able to extend the work limits, which will extend through Mansfield Road. And in order to construct a track across Mansfield, there will be a detour provided, and Mansfield will not have through traffic for a period of approximately 1 month. To allow the construction of the track to cross, and then we will then open it back up. This will not impact any of the pedestrian movement that's required here to maintain the schools and everybody functioning ped movement wise. But in terms of being able to construct a track across Mansfield, there is an anticipated closure for approximately 1 month starting November 18th. This is what the proposed detour would look like once Mansfield becomes a dead end for that period of time. We'll be able to then just use Dale Drive as the main thoroughway to access Mansfield. Up and coming also is we have been working on the traction power substation right in the heart of the Sim School. So that work has now been ongoing. We've already installed it. We're now making the final preparations so that we can get PEPCO on the timeline to energize the traction power substation, installing all the fencing around the school, and completing all the stairs and permanent handrail around the school to complete all the architectural finishes. And then we'll move on to completing all the final sidewalk and landscaping around the school property. Up and coming and ongoing, we have been working on the north side of the Wayne Avenue Bridge, and we have just recently completed the bridge abutments. And if you've driven by there recently, we have now set the girders, and we're looking to complete this bridge between now and through the end of November. And that'll then allow for a future traffic switch to occur to put the traffic on the newly constructed bridge on the north side. And then that'll allow us to then begin demolition of the side side of the bridge, which is slated to occur towards the end of this year. So the timelines that we're talking about right now is, like I had mentioned before, September 16th is when we close the parkway. The parkway will remain closed through November 18th, and that'll allow us to build track and finish the construction of the bridge. And then once November 18th comes, this closure will then extend through Manchester. So as the parkway opens up, Manchester Road closes to allow the track to be constructed through Manchester Road. Once we make the traffic switch onto the north side and the newly constructed bridge now has traffic, we will then plan on an outage of shutting down the parkway. Right now, it's scheduled to be on or around between March 15th to May 15th. Again, that'll also allow that on the south side, the track construction will be able to be constructed across the parkway and onto the south leg of the Wayne Avenue Bridge. And the proposed detour, once this goes into place, is shown here on the attached sketch. Manchester Road, Flower Avenue, and Piney Branch will be the main thoroughways to be used during this timeline during the construction of the track across Sligo Parkway. Once we cross Sligo Parkway towards Manchester, some of the work that's been ongoing over the past several months has been waterline. An entire new waterline system is being performed, and we are now completing all of those elimination of the existing water line. That'll then pave the way for the remaining storm drain to be completed. And we're also working on the retaining walls right now. And that work will go on for the next through the end of November. And then once that work and all that wall work is completed, that will then allow us to resume work on Duck Bank and start making the final preparations for the permanent curbs and sidewalks to be constructed on the north side of Wayne Avenue. And then the goal would be to continue working track uphill towards Manchester Place. And that is a quick update on the construction at Wayne Avenue. And we thought that'd be good to start giving you guys an update on systems and testing. And for that, I'm going to turn it over to Seren.
Thank you, Julio. Let me just get my camera on here. Thanks, Julio. My name is Seren Serkisoon, and I'm the systems manager for the project. Wanted to spend a few minutes talking about a very, very exciting milestone tonight, our test track. So our test track is located adjacent to the OMF facility where we store the trains. It's about a mile long, and it runs parallel to Highway 410 between Annapolis Road and Riverdale Road. The test track will be utilized for dynamic running of the trains, the light rail vehicles, and it'll focus on qualification or proof of design of the LRV subsystems and their major interfaces. Next slide, please. So, current status of our test track: we've got 5 light rail vehicles delivered. They've been static tested, meaning testing without actually running on the track. So they're ready to go on the track. We've got 8 more planned for this year. The track's been built and tamped. We have inspection and testing currently in progress for the track work. The traction power system that'll power the tracks, substation Q7, which is located on the western end of the test track, it's been installed and tested, and we're currently finishing up some cabling work so that we can get the overhead catenary connected and powered. The overhead catenary system, poles, brackets, and tension wires been complete. The contact wire has been installed along with switches, and we are testing that as well to get it ready for utilization of the test track. What are we going to use the test track for? Essentially, it's to prove out our design. We'll start off with braking and propulsion on the test track. The train does reach a maximum speed of 50 miles per hour. So we will be testing for getting up to speed per design and being able to brake per design. Later on, we'll be testing the automatic vehicle location system as well as various emergency systems on the trains to see how well they communicate with the control center, which is in the OMF building adjacent to the test track. Training, we've trained operators on operating and maintaining the trains. We've also trained first responders, police and fire departments in the neighboring towns so that everyone is equipped and ready should there be an incident or an emergency while we use the test track. Next slide, please. Safety first. Safety, of course, is always our top priority. Essentially, the test track is off limits to anyone other than construction personnel. So the LRVs that are seen running up and down the test track, of course, are not in service. The test track is a dedicated alignment. There's no access for the public. There is no road crossings. We stop short of Annapolis and also short of Riverdale on the other end. We have a state-of-the-art system, essentially part of the train control system from Siemens, which we'll be utilizing on the test track to prevent overrun of the trains as they approach both ends of the track. So that system is designed, it's fail-safe, and it's vital, and we feel confident that it'll achieve maximum safety for utilizing the test track. And I'm going to pass it over to Carla now to continue the presentation.
Next slide. So as we are across the alignment and in Montgomery County, we do participate in a lot of community events. The Purple Line team participated in many in Montgomery County, including Silver Spring National Night Out and the Bethesda Arts Festival, among others. So as we are impacting, we are out engaging in the community. So if you see us out and would like to ask questions, please don't hesitate to engage with us. And you can always reach us at outreach@purplelinemd.com if you have questions or issues. That's the best way to get us, and we can respond to you there. Next slide. I will now turn it over to Doran to speak to bike, scooter, and skateboard safety.
Sure. Thanks, Carla. This is just a slide also as we lay down more and more track, which we're so excited about. Just a reminder or another safety tip to be careful crossing the tracks on vehicles with smaller wheels like skateboards, scooters, bikes. So try to cross directly perpendicular to the track and just be careful in order to avoid your wheel getting stuck in the track. So really critical reminder for everyone out there. On to the next slide. Great. And then I always get the pleasure of talking about our Beyond the Rails community grant program. This summer, we awarded 6 additional grants, including really great organizations like Interfaith Works, who runs a food pantry, and SEEC, who helps individuals with development disabilities and is based in Silver Spring. As you can see for the photo there, another one was the outdoor classroom at Sligo Creek Elementary School and Silver Spring International Middle School. So we were really happy to be there. As Julio mentioned, and everyone on this call knows, we're doing so much work right there in front of those schools that we're happy to kind of support them in their learning. So that was great. And we're looking forward to the next round of community grants with applications due November 30th. So still 2 months to get those in. You can find all the information on the website under the resources tab. So if you have a good nonprofit group that could use a little extra boost, we would be pleased to receive an application and potentially support it. All the information needs on the website. It's a very quick application. So with that, I will turn it over to Ray.
I appreciate that, Doran. We wanted to make sure if you didn't catch it that we refreshed our website. As you can see here, it's now a little bit lighter feel to it and has a little bit more user interfaces with it. One I want to bring your attention to is the interface of the alignment that you can click on each of the stations and actually get a viewing of what the station would look like, including the art and what other public transit lines it intersects with. So very helpful to help you figure out the Purple Line as we get closer and closer to revenue service, so that by the time you get ready to ride it, you'll know how to get around on the Purple Line and how to connect with the other public transportation options that you have in your different areas. You can see both the web version and the mobile versions here on your phone. Next slide. And we always encourage you, as Carla mentioned and Doran mentioned, to always reach out to us if you have any questions about what's going on with the Purple Line at outreach@purplelinemd.com or at media@purplelinemd.com if it's a media request. We also have a hotline at the numbers that you see on your screen in both English and Spanish. And we encourage you to follow us on all of our social media platforms, on Facebook, on X, on YouTube, and Instagram. We are always pushing out information to make sure that the community is informed about what's going on. And we want to make sure that you're aware. So encourage you to sign up for those updates too, which you can do through our website, where you can get the email updates or the text updates of any construction changes. You heard a lot of different maintenance of traffic changes that will be going into effect over the next month or so in this area in particular. So it would be good if you connected with us and got those alerts so that you'll know how to reroute your routes if needed, if it affects you. With that, it's that time of the meeting where we turn it over to you for any questions that we may have from anyone in attendance of the progress that we're having on the Purple Line.
Yeah, just a quick reminder, you can raise your hand in Teams so we can call on you, or you can also put your question in the chat and we'll go through those as well.
Got it.
Making sure that you see we do have a question in the chat from Greg.
Ray, do you want to go to hands up first or chat?
I think the one in the chat came up first, and then we'll go to the hand that's up.
All right, so Greg Sanders, nice to see you, Greg, has a safety question. On Wayne Avenue between Sligo and Dartmouth around Dale, the road crosses the tracks a couple of times at non-perpendicular angles. What's your recommendation for cyclists? Should we just avoid Wayne for the time being? I've been trying to zigzag to increase the angle of crossing. A few signs might also be appropriate.
All right, Julio, do you want to take that one, or Doran?
Yeah, I can start. I think we're aware of a particular location that was temporary on Wayne where we did have a crosswalk at sort of an awkward angle, and we did temporarily put a filler in the tracks and adjusted to widen that crosswalk to accommodate a little bit better being able to cross. So I'm not sure if that's exactly where you mentioned, but we can also double check what's out there now. But we were aware of one instance on Wayne in particular.
Greg, I don't know if that's okay for now, or if you want to add anything to that.
Quick add, I had seen that crossing, so the crosswalk is great. I am commuting into the city on Wayne, so I'm actually on the road as a cyclist, which is not the best road for cycling, even in normal circumstances. But yeah, so I don't see too many people there, so maybe a small audience. But if you're just cycling on the road, you end up crossing at like 30-degree angles a couple of times as the road crosses over and crosses back the tracks. And maybe I should not be cycling on Wayne at this time, but either way, it might be worth thinking about whether you want to advise cyclists to go around or just remind them that you can't quite 90-degree it, but to cross as much of an angle as you can.
I appreciate that, right?
Yeah, thanks. And as you know, with the road shifting, that's sort of temporary during construction, and we're looking forward to getting the full alignment and also sidewalks on both sides, which will give more options, hopefully.
Yep.
All right, so it looks like we have one hand up. Kit, if you want to go ahead and unmute yourself and ask your question.
Sure. Hi. Hi all. Hi Carla. Kit Gage. I'm the advocacy director of Friends of Sligo Creek. We had a very helpful meeting. I forget, a month or so ago with a bunch of the Purple Line people, and I appreciate that. I had a couple questions. One is this the plan for stormwater? My recollection, and it was a while ago, was that there were going to be some additional stormwater catchment areas in addition to just what looked like pots, from what you were describing. And I wonder about the plan for that, so we don't end up with so much of the stormwater coming down the increased impervious area of Wayne into Sligo Creek. So that's number one. And number two is the plan, from what you said, the plan is to open Sligo Parkway north of Wayne about November 18th, and then close the Sligo Parkway south of Wayne from March 15 to May 15. So one piece of that is there the trail? Is the trail going to be open during that the March 15 to May 15 timeframe? And also, my recollection from working with parks a lot is that there's a time when they and anybody is not allowed to work in the creek while it's sort of mating season, and in the creek. And I'm wondering if the March 15 to May 15 period runs into that issue. You don't want to kill whatever remaining fish and macroinvertebrates are there by doing additional closures. That's obviously not a parkway issue. That's more whether you're rerouting the creek. That's it. That's like 12 questions. Sorry.
No, I think we got them. Appreciate that, Kid. I'm gonna ask Julio to come on to help answer the storm drain questions, and the trail question.
Yep. On the storm drain side, like I was mentioning, the term planter boxes is actually part of our improvements on drainage along the corridor on Wayne Avenue. So there is significant improvements done to the drainage, which is the bulk of the underground work that we got going on along the corridor. So those efforts have been designed with the anticipation of the anticipated storm runoff that could be generated. So that has been captured in the design. And again, these planter boxes are going in the ground over the next several months. There's actually 32 to be exact along the Wayne Avenue corridor to be installed.
How big are they? Sorry.
They come in different cells. They're roughly 8 by 10 by 8 foot deep. So that's the storm question.
So they're sort of bioswale. They're functionally bioswales.
That's correct.
Okay.
As it relates to the access to the trail, during the, we will not be impacting the trail. The trail will always be maintained open. That is one of the concessions that we have to maintain with parks, is at all times that there will be a compliant access to the trail. And then the third part of that question regarding the stream restoration work, you're 100% right. There is a window between March 15th and June, that the stream disturbance work cannot be ongoing. And the goal for us is, prior to March 15th, any of the work that would be impacting the creek would be completed. So the goal is by March 15th, being out of that, out of the water, and being building the bridge. And that's the reason why we have timed out the March 15th to May 15th with the construction of the bridge. So very good question.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Julio. Thank you, Kit, for those questions. I see we have a question in the chat about any partnerships with the local news media or other communication platforms of any closures, and commuters traveling in the area to alert to what's going on in the Purple Line construction. Carla, maybe you're the best one to take this one as the communications and outreach person.
Sure. Yeah, we stay in close touch with media. We're always chatting with WTOP, and Kat Lamb's also on the call too. So between myself for construction and MTA for overall project-related issues, I think we have good relationships with all of our local outlets, and we're always looking to partner further. So if you would like to reach out to us to discuss that, we're happy to share more information.
And just a reminder, appreciate that, Carla. If we can go back one slide, we have that email address that's actually for the media at purplelinemd.com for any inquiries or any questions they may have. Any other questions? All right, going once, going twice. Well, we won't hold you. We know we gave a lot of information. As you can see, there's been a lot of progress going on for the project, and we have a lot of momentum continuing with the project. And the next milestone we're looking forward to it, as Serene gave the update on, is the testing on the test track and all of that with the LRVs that we have for the project. Looking forward to that, and you should see on our social media platforms now, and I want to encourage you again to sign up for it. That video that you saw earlier at the beginning of this meeting tonight, if you want to be able to share that to let other people know of all the good progress happening for Maryland's transit line, the Purple Line that we're building. Thank you, and have a good night, everyone.